Hi, I'm Lisa Louise Cook from the Genealogy Gems podcast, and I'm here today for Family History Expo TV. And I'm very happy to welcome Dr. Arlene Eakle to the show. Welcome, Arlene.
Thank you.
Arlene is here speaking at the conference and providing some classes on an area of expertise that I don't know very much about, but I don't have Virginia ancestors. But I'm guessing a lot of folks watching and listening may very well have some. Arlene, I know that you cover a wide range of areas, but talk to us a little bit about Virginia and the research there and some of the things that might be unique about that people need to keep in mind.
Okay. Virginia is kind of an interesting place because if you have the tradition that your family has been here forever, you're going to have at least one or more Virginia ancestors because Virginia starts the country. And in the beginning, all was Virginia. So it's kind of a, it's kind of an interesting place just because of its longevity.
Yeah.
A lot of courthouse fires have taken place there, and as a result, there are a lot of missing records. You have to learn how to substitute information, how to find information, and how to pull evidence out of sources that you might not otherwise choose to look at. One of my very favorite stories, of course, is the fact that to begin with there was this little cluster of counties. There were 4 city counties and 4 counties that were formed on both sides of the James River. They were formed very early on, and what actually happens is they decided that here were all these people concentrated along the river. It seemed ridiculous to build 8 courthouses. That seemed like unnecessary money. And the Virginians are very oriented to money even today. So they decided one courthouse would do with a room for each county. That courthouse caught fire and burned and took 8 counties all at one fell swoop. So
but tell us that there's good news and that there may be some alternatives.
Oh yes, there are. There are a number of alternatives. There's a little librarian in a place called Providence Forge, and she was living in one of these counties that had burned so badly, and she would get many inquiries. They would write her asking for help. I understand my family came from this place, but I can't find any information. And so she began to collect a lot of records. And she's indexed a lot of alternatives, but probably the best alternative source are tax rolls, and there are a number of those. Different kinds kept from early times and then up to and including the Revolution and afterward. And so that's one of those good alternative sources.
And that's so true, isn't it? So often when there's money involved and there's government exchange involved, you have a good chance of finding some records.
That's very true. And the tax man, gets all levels of society.
No discrimination there.
In one way or another. That's really true.
So anything else? And you sounded like there were tax rolls, any other kinds of alternative records? What kinds of things was she tapping into to make up for these
A lot of family information with traditions, family Bibles, correspondence back and forth between families, information that had been passed on down through the years as to who the origins, what family actually made the origins of this particular group of people. And so she had compiled a lot of that. And it provides you with a means of continuity to get you through the places where the records are missing.
So while we may not be going to the traditional place of the county courthouse, we may, in Virginia then, be looking more to the local librarian, the state archives, universities, that type of thing?
Absolutely.
I would think particularly a journal or a diary would more likely find its way there.
Yes, and there are a lot of family collections. Many of the early families were well connected in England or in Scotland, and they sent younger sons to operate in their behalf. And then out on in the western parts of the state, you get those who have some kind of a corporate structure, and they send their relatives, their nieces, their nephews, their sons out to become factors to operate their business in those areas, and then to generate the money and send it into the central corporation. And there were a lot of Scottish corporations that did that. The tobacco crop would be sent and marketed in Glasgow, Scotland, for example.
Well, it sounds like we really need to understand the economy, the history, the culture, things going on around our ancestors to really know how to get the clues about where to look.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of very nice collections of family papers, which are often business records.
Right.
I also learned that one of the legal places that you can record marriages and births and deaths, vital records, are in corporate minute books. And so I discovered that there were many, many marriages kept for the pools and the petty pools in the distillery accounts.
Would that be because you're married, there's contractual or there's legal interest in the business that the wife becomes involved, or what would it motivate them to?
There would be some of that, but the distillery accounts, an account book, can be admitted into court without being challenged, and so they would record those vital records there so that they could pull upon them in a legal document.
Much like the family Bible was considered to be a formal document, and that's why you'd record them. Oh, interesting. And these are corporate accounts. If we were interested in finding something like that, where are we looking to? What kind of a repository?
Well, normally you will find those, you'll find them originally in the possession of the family. Then they will be turned over to archives and libraries that collect original materials and preserve them. And the Virginia State Library, called the Virginia Library in Richmond, also has collections of this kind. But almost every library of any size in Virginia will have one or more family collections.
Really? So it still has that local element to it.
Yes.
Not such a large place that you really want to check with the locals and then check with the archives. And I'm assuming the Virginia Archive must have its own major website. And
oh, yes, absolutely. It's actually a wonderful website.
Really?
Oh, yes. And easy to navigate, easy to find things, and has a wealth of information available, well indexed.
Wonderful. Arlene, this has been fascinating. Interesting to see how each state kind of has its own story, has its own method for dealing with records. And if we understand that from someone like you, we can maybe have better success more quickly.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Oh, you're welcome.